much time? How is 6:50 now? About 8, I think.
7:45, then take questions. Should I extend it?
Yeah, like this. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Perfect. Om Ajnanatinirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namavam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome all of you for this evening session on unleashing our hidden potential within us. Or which is often wasted. So you will come to understand in the session today, how are we dissipating our energies in wrong ways and how we could conserve those energies so that they can be utilized fruitfully. Just like a flood can do no good. But if a flood is, prevented within a dam, then the flood could be very constructive. You can use for irrigation purposes at a time when you want it. Similarly, we can consider all of our potentials to be like a flood. When not given direction, it can be wasted or it can be destructive also. So, what it needs for us to be able to conserve our energies and tap them when needed is what is the central theme of my talk today. As you see in the picture here below, the 5 horses are uncontrolled because the driver is a weak driver. He's not able to restrain them. One of the very first things that we all need to do in our life is to strengthen our intelligence, by which we will be able to restrain the horses of our senses. Like the 5 horses are representing our 5 jnanendriyas, as we call them, or knowledge acquiring senses, like the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. So these 5 senses are connected to the mind. Shrotam, Chakshus, Parshanam, Rasanam, Granam, Adhishtaya, Manashchayam, Vishayanupasevate. Like Krishna says, the mind is the central thing. Eyes see something and they capture it because they take a snapshot and they put it in the mind. Similarly, the ears, they hear some sound, they give it to the mind. So all of them are supplying the things to the mind. Mind is like a hard disk which stores all the information received from the 5 senses. And the intelligence is like a CPU, like central processing unit, which is a decision maker, like driver of this chariot, you see. So intelligence, mind, senses. That's the order. If the intelligence is strong, we have the power to discriminate the right from the wrong and the good from the bad. What is beneficial in the long term and what is titillating in the short term. You'll be able to know the difference between the two, which is called Viveka Buddhi, we call it. Ability to discriminate. So when the intelligence is strong, then we can restrain the mind and we can restrain the horses also. See, See, mind goes by impulses. It goes by instinctive pleasures. It goes by short-term, quick pleasures, which will bring about ruin in the long run, or which will bring about suffering in the long run. But the intelligence doesn't go like that. Intelligence goes by reason. Like once in a class, I did a practical demonstration for this. I took a chocolate in my hand and a $100 dollar note, and I showed it to everybody. Which one would you want if I give you either of the two? All the children said chocolate, chocolate. They all said, because they can't think beyond that. They don't know inside $100 dollar note there are 100 chocolates. They can't think like that. So most of the world rushes after instinctive pleasures, which are short-term pleasures, which are quick to get and quick to lose. And they are unable to savor the benefits of long-term, long-enduring happiness. So therefore, the intelligence is actually strengthened by sacred literatures like Bhagavad Gita. And we learn the right method of nourishing the intelligence and then subduing the mind and the senses. Now, some of you may have a question, really? You have to subdue the senses? Why at all we restrain the senses? Restraint is sometimes considered a bad word. People think that there should be no repression in any level. There should be freedom for doing everything. But actually, the restraint we are talking about is actually healthy in the long run. Just like in your garden, you like to trim the plants to look neat and tidy. You don't allow them to grow in all directions. Trimming makes it look good. Similarly, the flood also is beneficial. I told you, if it is, stored like a dam. So that's also another type of restraint. In America, of course, you have gas coming through the pipes. In India, they have gas cylinders. The gas cylinders, they have a regulator. That is also a restraint. Similarly, a student who has to study for the exam and crack the exam, they also many times burn the midnight oil for several days. They restrain themselves from playing or watching TV or playing video games. Is it not restraint? When you want to accomplish some goal of life, goal in life, some great goal in life, we are willing to, restrain ourselves and give up certain things. And not only that, not only we restrain ourselves, we also put ourselves into a practice also. Like we say, practice maketh the man perfect in any field. So practice involves focus and concentration. And restraint involves some amount of denying certain pleasures which we may otherwise want to indulge in. So therefore, restraint is not a bad word as long as it helps you accomplish the ultimate goal. So in the right side, I have shown a picture of a person doing meditation. And there are innumerable temptations and pressures. And, especially in the modern times, needless to say, the globe has become shrunk. And the kind of engagements we have has increased. And the communications as well as transportation has tremendously increased nowadays. So there is a lot of challenge on our energy and time in the modern times. So unless you learn the art of conserving your energy, you can't be a happy person. It requires conservation of energy to feel the inner fulfillment. Otherwise, we may externally accomplish a lot, but we may not feel that inner fulfillment. Just like somebody has millions of dollars in the pocket, but there is no happiness inside, and that is because of the lifestyle. So I am giving you just 4 points like this with some pictures and everything. It will make it very easy. I especially thought that if I give you these 4 points, it will be like a take-home message, and people will maybe remember easily. You see, controlled mind is our friend. It helps you conserve your energies. Uncontrolled mind is our enemy. So in the first 2 slides, I am talking about things in which we should not dissipate our energy. Like, do not dissipate energy, but conserve your energy by avoiding dreaming about opposite sex is written here, as you see in the picture, or avoiding overeating or junk food eating or unhealthy eating. Even if it is good food, we should not overeat. We only should eat what we can digest. And once we have digested, we should get energy. Once we get energy, we should be able to utilize it for work. Energy is defined in science as capacity to do work. Not that after eating we feel like sleeping. After eating, if we feel like sleeping, we have overeaten. Other things have written. Do not dissipate your energy, but conserve your energy. How? By avoiding useless talk, useless debate, and fault finding. Actually, by useless talk, we dissipate a lot of energy. We don't think and talk. We talk many times, hours together. Like I remember talking to one of my friends, on a team of people. Almost I spoke for an hour. They said, wonderful points. Can you send us an email? It'll be nice. Then I wrote an email. Then later on, I felt I could have just written the email and sent them instead of the talk. And sometimes we waste a lot of time on the phone and afterwards we put it in the mail. So the tongue and the mind are connected. You will see that when we talk, our mind becomes filled with those thoughts, what we talk. And a lot of mental energy is also consumed by that. And many times we do useless debate with people, whether Eastern medicine is good or Western medicine is good, or this is good or that is good. When we make comparisons and we have debates, and ultimately you will see that like a dog's tail, even if you put it in a pipe for a dozen years and then remove it again, tail will go like this. Therefore, there's a saying, a person convinced against his will is of the same opinion still, it is said. So one shouldn't waste time in useless debate or fault finding in others. Actually, fault finding is good provided they are your mentee or you are able to uplift their spirits by giving them some valuable inputs. Then your fault finding is good. Like parents may find sometimes fault in a child, or teachers may sometimes give some inputs to their students. Then it makes sense. Otherwise, fault finding for the sake of fault finding is useless. It's waste of energy. Similarly, avoid brooding over anxieties in the mind. Actually, there's a saying in English, worry may bury you. We get buried by repeatedly thinking. One time in our temple, we were actually about to leave for a faraway place in a train. So we were cooking the travel, we call it as a journey prasad, for the food for the journey. So we were making very nice items. There was a pineapple halwa, there was a papaya halwa, and there was chapatis made, and all very nice dishes packed. But when we rushed to the train, we forgot to take that pack with us. After reaching the train, only during lunchtime we realized. We saw that we didn't find the bag anywhere in the train. We called the temple and they said, yeah, you packed it, but you forgot to take it. We were 4 or 5 of us. So one of them started dreaming about what all were there in that pack. He said, we made this, we made that, we made that. Alas, we didn't carry it. So I told him, why do you waste time dreaming about it? You will become more worried. Now you are not going to get it. Take some fruits and eat and be happy. So sometimes we brood over the past, which cannot be brought back. So what cannot be cured must be endured. So avoid brooding over the anxieties. Avoid thoughts of revengefulness. Oh, that is very dangerous for us. If you have revengefulness, that hurts us more than the person upon whom we want to take a revenge. It's like carrying a red hot coal in the hand and running behind somebody. That person is running very fast, far away. So he is not getting hurt. I am getting hurt in my hands. Actually, therefore, revenge is called as a two-way dagger. You hurt others, you hurt yourself. And also avoiding useless endeavor for self-promotion and accumulation. People waste a lot of time telling others how great they are. They spend with many, many people. And therefore, you find in Facebook nowadays, people put so many photos about themselves and send it to so many people and back and forth. The main purpose of promoting oneself is to draw attention of others and become loved by others, be wanted amongst others, be socially popular, and get validated by the world around us. Why do we want all this? Because we are not experiencing that inner love. So therefore, one has to find out, how can I feel a very strong sense of belonging as well as experience of affection from God. That actually can compensate for all other type of energy dissipation we do in this world to promote ourselves and to get validated by the world around us. So therefore, just as for example, a child feels a sense of belonging to the parents. Similarly, every one of us, we feel a very strong sense of belonging to God in the pure platform. So in that platform, many of these items which I'm telling you, energy dissipation can be avoided. These items I am telling you based on one Rupa Goswami's first verse in a book called as Nectar of Instruction. You will get it in ISKCON Society. ISKCON, it's called as Upadeshamrita, a Nectar of Instruction. So there he has told these are the things which de-energizes. And after physically and mentally getting drained out, then we have very little energy left for us to do something wonderful. So unleashing the potential means what? Two things we can say. Just like in our temple, when I became president, one of the first things I did in Pune, in India, is cost cutting. I said, these are things where we are wasting money, you cut the cost. They said, no, what about bringing donation? I said, talk about it later. First, let us cut the costs, where we are wasting the money unnecessarily. So half of the money could be cut in those days. And then we made a plan for raising donation. Actually, raising donation is very easy. If you do some good activity, people are very happy to come and be a part of it. So therefore, in the same manner, we have to check where am I wasting my energy in any of these items which I told you. We all can check ourselves. If I'm wasting my energy in any of this, then let me first cut it down. And you might have heard there's a system called Kaizen system, they call it small improvement. If somebody is smoking every day a cigarette, we can, instead of that, he can smoke alternate days. If somebody has a habit of quarreling every day, then you can make it quarreling once in 3 days. So at least reduce it a little bit. Somebody is too talkative, like a chatterbox, then they can see how many hours I talk every day. At least cut it down by half. Restrain yourself. If somebody has a habit of becoming a self-appointed advisor, going around to people and giving them feedback and do this, don't do that, and irritate other people around. Then if they want to be friendly with others, they can start giving compliments to others. Just to make a difference in life. Small compliments. Just give 2 compliments a day. So this is called small. Actually, small things are easy to implement. Don't make a large-scale plan. Make a small plan. Don't talk about tomorrow. Talk about today. What you will do today. Okay, instead of giving 2 faults to people, I will tell 2 compliments to them. So in this way, we can make a beginning. If mind is uncontrolled, of course, mind is controlled, it's our best friend. If mind is not controlled, it can be our greatest enemy. So many people keep dreaming about things without accomplishing anything. And that is because the mind has overpowered them. How to understand this mind? Is smartphone your friend or is smartphone your enemy? It depends on whether smartphone has made you a slave or smartphone is your servant. If smartphone is your servant, you will only use it when you want to do something constructive. And you will not become a victim of the smartphone by being dragged by the smartphone in such a way that so many appliances in social media now, you can really lose hours and hours nowadays. We can become a slave of it. We can be, like I saw in our temples also, some people have got addicted to clicking photos and going on, they click everything. They keep on taking photo of this, photo of that, photo of that, and I don't know when will they get time to see it. So much time they waste. You see that. So the reason why they do that is they have become addicted to that habit. It's not that they are taking the photo and going to be doing something constructive with that. They just keep on wherever they see that. It has become like a habit. It's like a second nature. So mind also is like that. If mind can be your good servant, like for example, if you're sitting in a car, you tell the taxi driver, take me to such and such place, take me to the temple. Imagine he takes you to a liquor shop. That means he is not your servant. He is dominating you. So is mind dominating us, or are we making the mind servant? Uncontrolled mind has done so many things in this world. Needless to say, you know better. And also the result of uncontrolled mind is many things in this world. So, therefore, you see, These are the results of uncontrolled mind. I told you about this. So these are some of the ways we waste our energy. Of course, at the same time, these are situations we all inevitably face in the world. Somebody may oppose our opinion. Somebody may break promises, a cheater. They may not care about us. So what do we do in these situations? Actually, these are the situations when we face, these are situations which may cause us to lose our energy by becoming reactive. We had one seminar called how to respond to situations and not react to situations. So how do we respond in these situations? In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 56 to 72 verses, if you read, Lord Krishna is talking about a self-realized person. When people show him affection or anger, how does he respond? And while living in this world where one faces many inevitabilities, uncertain situations and uncontrollable situations, how does he respond? So there is a very beautiful section in that Bhagavad Gita, second chapter you will read. So, for example, if somebody is opposing my opinion, why should I be angry? Just as much as I have a free will to express my opinion, somebody else can express his opinion also. Actually, how did I become convinced about this? I will tell you. See, I like to serve, lunch to many devotees. I found that every devotee's liking for a particular item of lunch is different. Like some people like rice. Some people say no rice. They want only puri. Some people take more sabji and no liquid. Some people want only liquid and no sabji. So should I give them the items they are asking for, or should I serve them the items that I like to serve? Yes? Which one I should do? Whatever they ask for, correct? Huh? So they have opinion about what they like, what they don't like. I serve according to that. Same thing we should do in our lives. Every individual has the right to have an opinion. They have their opinion. I have my opinion. Therefore, God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth to listen to other people and understand them and then speak our opinion to them. So by respecting others' opinion, people would like to collaborate with us. And we can save our energy also. Many times you find there may be slight difference in which two people may be arguing about. Slight difference. But they argue hours and hours, tooth and nail. The whole idea is many people in this world want to prove that I am right. Nobody wants to improve. Everybody wants to prove. And that's where the fight over trivial things happens. Because they don't have anything worthwhile to do in life. If you have something worthwhile, we will lift up our vision and do something good. Therefore, in the same manner, somebody broke the promise. They made a promise and they broke the promise. We may not know the reason why. Later on, we can find out. Maybe they forgot. Or maybe they are not trustworthy. Maybe they didn't have the capacity to fulfill the promise. Or maybe they made a promise beyond the capacity. So there could be many possibilities. Actually, therefore, there are 3 gunas explained in Bhagavad Gita. Tamaguna, Rajaguna, Sattva-guna. The nature of Tamaguna is to cover you, cover your intelligence, cover your mind, and make us foolish. Tamaguna. Rajaguna has a tendency to project itself. That means as soon as somebody breaks promise, I want to punch on the nose. Why did you break the promise? Without even asking, why did you break? And Sattva Guna means it's revealing. Sattva Guna can reveal us. What is good, what is bad, what is right, why he did. It makes us think and act. So think and act means Sattva Guna. Thinking little and then acting means Rajaguna. And Tamaguna means no thinking, no acting. So therefore, each of these items, if you see, the self-management is possible in these situations if we think twice before we respond. So these are all conditionings in the mind, as I showed you before also. Therefore, the mind can make a heaven out of hell or hell out of heaven, it is said. Which means, what is heaven and what is hell? For example, you have a relationship with a very good friend. More than a couple of decades, 2 families have been very good friends with each other. And if there is some difference over something, now the question is the relationship between the two families important, or to prove our point is important? Like one couple was telling me, morning, the man was leaving for the office. In the evening, when he came back from the office, the wife asked him, morning, I told you to bring this. Why you didn't bring it? The man said, you never told me anything. The wife said, no, I told you. Probably you were on the phone. You didn't listen to me. Husband said, no. Why? When I was talking on phone, you didn't talk to me. You were in the kitchen. I don't think you told me anything. Wife was standing on one leg and said, no, I told you. You always forget. Then the husband thought what to do now. It's like an unending war. So he told her, maybe I forgot. Very good. Now you admit it now. And the problem was dissolved immediately. And they had a sweet relationship after that. Later on, the husband felt, actually, I didn't forget. But by saying that I forgot, our relationship was saved. So one after the two have to bend. See, in our school days, we learned one story. Two goats came on a bridge. One goat said, urgent, urgent. Another goat said, super urgent. They both wanted to go fast on the bridge. So they both fought and they both fell into the river. That's one story. Another story says they both came. One goat said, okay, mine is urgent, you are also urgent. Okay, I'll sit down, you go. And he walked over him like this and went to the other side and they both went. Actually, these teachings are given in our first standard. Actually, we should give it to adults, I think, isn't it? Children are very small to learn all these things. They may not know the value of it. Like, this incident, once Radheshyam wanted to cross a wicket gate, wicket gate, small gate. One another man came and said, he came this side, he came this side, both of them came like this. That man said, I don't give way for fools, he said. Radheshyam said, but I give, he said, and then he moved aside. And the man also went. He didn't realize what he said. So, therefore, of course, making a heaven out of hell means a very nice, enriching relationship we have with somebody, and we may spoil it because of our treatment. Or it can make a hell out of heaven means from a good situation, it can make it bad, or it can make a bad situation, it can make it into good also. It depends on how we utilize our mind. So this is the example I told you. The senses are 5 horses, and the mind is the rope, intelligence is the driver, and the soul are the resident of the body, who is the imperishable personality. Every religion talks about spirit, whether you take Bible or Quran or Sanatana Dharma, all of them talk about a spirit which survives beyond death, who is answerable to God for all his actions. We all know about it. So that is the soul, we call it, or spirit soul, we call it. Spirit soul is a real person. Body is just a dress over the soul. So most people are giving importance to body and the mind, but these two are temporary. The soul is the permanent thing, the real personality. So I am giving some solutions here. These solutions will be very helpful for us to conserve our energies by making mind a proper friend. How we will do that, we will see in the subsequent slides. You see, if somebody is taking care of the body and doing exercises every day, going to gym or going for jogging or doing yoga, then he is called as a good animal because he keeps the body very well. But if somebody is very good in their own profession, they are called good craftsmen. Somebody is very good in people dealing, they are called a good friend. Somebody daily takes out time to pray to God, bow down to God, read some scriptures about God, then they are called as a good saint. And a human being means one who has all these 4 put together. Otherwise, we are incomplete human being. We are not a complete human being. In order for us to be complete, all the 4 components are important. Therefore, why am I beginning with the food? Because food is very important. You see, there is something called the fight or flight mechanism, we call it. What is fight or flight? Flight means fear, running away. Fight means to attack, violent. So violence and fear. One day in India, when I was a small school-going kid in our compound, we used to have 15 houses in a row. After that, we had a garden, and ahead of the garden, there will be a gate. There was a dead end. So one day, a pig came with a dozen piglets. into our compound. So it was running like this. So me and my friends, we all took a stick and ran behind the pig. Sometimes, you derive fun by chasing this animal. So it was running, big pig, very huge. So the pig became afraid that the 4, 5 boys are chasing after me. So it ran to the gate. When it found that there was a dead end, so the pig couldn't find any way to go. Then he turned around and showed his teeth. Then we got frightened. We started running away. Then he was chasing us. Then we all ran into our homes after that. So initially the pig was, what was he doing? Flight. He was running away. Now again, later on he was doing fight. It's called flight or fight. So when you kill an animal also, first the animal does flight. It tries to escape. But when it cannot escape, then it becomes aggressive and violent. Wants to attack. So that is called fight. So flight or fight, we say. So violence and fear. And a lot of adrenaline is secreted when the animal is killed like that. So when we eat that product of violence and fear mixed with adrenaline, then we also get the same tendencies. We become very aggressive and violent, or we become very fearful and timid and insecure. So do we want these qualities? We don't want these qualities. We need to have stability of mind. Then this type of vegetables, fruits, cereals, rice, wheat, sugar, all these things are foods which actually produce calmness of mind and stability of mind. They are very easy to digest also. If you take the tiger's intestine, it is only this much. And the tiger's intestine gastric juice is 20 times more concentrated than human. So any meat you put, it digests very quick and throws it out. Whereas in our body, the 30 feet long intestine takes long time to digest them, especially the meat food, and remove it. Therefore, we get a lot of diseases by that. So, and also the scriptures say that this type of food, when you eat, when mind becomes very mild nature, then you can think and act well. Your thinking will be activated. And then, like for example, if I'm going on the road, if there is a manhole which is open, I have to look first, and then I have to walk by the side so I don't fall into it. Which means vision first, action next. Not that action first and vision later. Action first means I fall into the ditch and say, oh, sorry, how did I fall? I don't know why. That's not the way. So therefore, if you want a very good clarity of vision, then the kind of food we eat is very important. And also we should eat proper quantity. We should not too much eat. Too much eating leads to many complications. Actually, the eating should produce energy. Eating should not produce sleep. After eating, if somebody is lying down, that means he has overeaten. That's a proof. After eating, like you see, many of the truck drivers, they eat in motels. After that, they sit in the lorry and they drive, isn't it? They're not sleeping. If they sleep, there will be an accident, isn't it? Similarly, one shouldn't overeat. Even vegetarian food, one shouldn't overeat. So, and the pranayam calms the mind, and yogasanas calms the senses. One can do these things to keep the body, keep the body healthy. And we have to regulate our sleeping also. Actually, there is a video you will find in the Google. If you go to the YouTube, you'll find out. Why do top-notch CEOs rise at 4 a.m. in the morning? And there is a video. You will see that. They sleep at 10 and get up at 4. Many of the top-notch CEOs. Because in the early morning time, the timing is called Brahma Muhurta. It's very conducive for creative thinking, innovative thinking, meditation, absorption. 1 hour in the morning is equal to 4 or 5 hours in the daytime. Srila Prabhupada says that in one of his writings, he says. So you can see 9 to 12 sleep is equal to 6 hours actually. As it gets later, amount of benefit you get is limited. But unfortunately, nowadays people keep awake till 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock also. Many people. Some of them sleep at 5 o'clock in the morning. So we should, that is the video I have given that, the link I have given here. Maybe I can give the link to Atulya Mataji. I think she can circulate to others. This link, it's just 4 or 5 minute video it is, but it's very interesting it is. It talks about, night 10 o'clock at night to morning 2, lot of acid secrete in our body. So those acid secretion is very important for recuperation and replenishment of the bodily energies. So like for example, I rise at morning 3, I sleep at 9 at night, 9 to 3. But daytime I will never lie down. We don't have to sleep at all. Whole day you can work. That means morning 3 to night 9, how many hours it is? 18 hours you can work. And without getting tired. That's because I'm sleeping at the time 9. Some days it becomes 9:30 for me. Then I get up at 3:30. But so I have personal experience. I can tell you from experience. I can work all day if I sleep early like this. But if you sleep at 12 or 1, you all know how it is. We become a little drowsy in the daytime. We lie here, lie there. Similarly, unhealthy habits should be given up, like intoxication, meat eating, gambling, illicit sex. All these bad habits should be given up because these habits are putting substances into the body which are harmful. Why should we do that? We can actually, body is also a temple of God. And God has given us this body to utilize it for perfecting our human life and attaining the ultimate spiritual perfection. The body should be preserved well and utilized well for the purpose for which it is intended, rather than putting harmful substances just for getting a kick. They are all deadly. And we can increase the sattva in our mind by mind elevating literatures, like the kind of books we read and all that. So that was first point. First point, I told you about the mind and about how to bring the mind to a calm state by increasing sattva. That was the point. Right? And I also showed you many examples of how we all lose our energies. So he says, Vacho Vegam, Manasak Krodha Vegam, Jikva Vegam, Mudra Vegam, Pasta Vegam, Jetan Vegan, Etan Vegan, Yo Vichageta Diraga, Sarvamati Imam, Prativim Shishya. He says, too much speaking, unnecessary things, and letting the mind wander in all directions, becoming unnecessarily angry, disproportionately angry for small things, trivial things. It's like we call it as bringing a machine gun for a mosquito. We call it. One shouldn't become unnecessarily angry. And also eating too much, and in the same manner, wasting energy, imagining so many things about opposite sex, all these things. So I showed you those things right in the beginning itself, that we should not waste our energies, conserve our energies. That was one of the first things I showed. Then I told you about make mind your friend by accepting mind as a servant. Don't let mind become a master and make you a slave. So then I showed you the chariot of the body, isn't it? The soul is the passenger, the intelligence is the driver, ropes are the mind, and the horses are the senses. So strengthen the intelligence, restrain the ropes, and restrain the horses. So we talked about that. So now here comes the second thing, misery traps. How the mind chases after misery traps. You can see this rat, for example, there's some sweet kept for the rat. Actually, the rat gets grains very easily, rice or wheat or anything. Even in the field also it can get. But the rat is attracted by some special sweet item. This is actually, therefore we say when you go from need to greed, you have to bleed. So you will see then the rat gets caught. He's caught in a rat trap or he is killed sometimes. You find that. Because he desired for this, got into trouble by that. Similarly, fish, you see, in ocean it gets a lot of food. God has arranged for his food. But he becomes attracted to the meaty bait put by a fisherman's hook. When he goes to catch that, then he loses his life. He is captured and pulled out of the water. Now, these are innocent creatures. They did not know it was a trap. They also went to eat because it was food for the survival. But man, if you see, man will not die without a cigarette. He will not die without liquor. He will not die without drugs. And in all those things, the statutory warning is also given. Still, you will find man will indulge and he gets into this known traps. So this is due to the habit. So how do we change this conditioning in our mind which impel us to do wrong things? Just like here I was showing you, and of course the smoking, drinking, drugs are very grossly bad habits. We also have many other bad habits. So they're all, the impure and bad habits are stored in our mind and they are exercised through our body. So how do we remove those habits? Here is one very easy thing that we can do. Look into the kind of books that you regularly read, the movies you watch, music you listen, and the friendships you keep. These are the places from where we pick up habits, new habits. And besides that, we can add two more things. Upbringing by parents and grandparents on one hand, and also your teachers. Teachers and family members, and apart from that, these things. On the right side, I've shown a Gigo principle: good in, good out, garbage in, garbage out. So whatever good things you take, then good things come out. There was a man who was selling a couple of parrots in the market, and both the parrots were brothers. So one monk was passing by. He was watching that one parrot was sold to a butcher. Another parrot, the brother parrot, was sold to a king. So later on, when the butcher was, when the sadhu monk was passing through the same road, he saw that parrot was yelling and shouting, "Catch him, beat him, kill him, cut him," like that he was speaking. So he crossed the road and went. He was wondering why this parrot is speaking bad words like this. Then he saw the parrot in the king's palace, and that parrot was speaking very sweetly. "Oh, great sage, please take your seat. The king has gone for a stroll. He'll come back soon. Would you like to have a cup of juice?" Like that he was talking. So the sage was surprised. How that parrot is so bad, this fellow is so good. What happened to them? They are both brothers. Why they behave differently? Then this parrot started speaking a shloka. Gauva shanena vakyam shanoti aham charajan vajanam munina nastyatta dosho nachamat gunova samsargaja dosha guna bhavanti. You know what he said? My brother is associating with a meat eater and a killer of animals. And he always says, "Hey, get this goat, keep this goat, cut this goat, kill it," like that he speaks. Therefore, he is also copying his speech. And my dear sage, I am living in king's palace, and king is a great saintly king. And he invites many saintly people like you who speak very sweet words. They always glorify God. Continuously hearing them, my speech also has become like that, he said. So this is a association, you can see that. So because the parrot was taking good in, good was coming out. If you take garbage in, then garbage will come out. So therefore, we can say no to bad habits very easily by that. Here are some of the degrading, sinful activities called vikarma, which I showed you before also. One should go beyond these bad habits. They are given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, with all advancement in modern times, how is a modern man dissipating so much energy? You can see that he becomes a workaholic, he becomes overloaded, he becomes irritated, he becomes depressed. He has never-ending assignments. And to grow the ladder of success only for accomplishment and no fulfillment. Why? Why is that? So there are two qualities, divine and demoniac. We have to actually strenuously cultivate divine qualities like Prahalad. You see in the picture here, it's Prahalad. On the other side, you see Hiranyakashipu, who exhibit demoniac qualities. So these two natures are in all of us. There is an angel within us and animal within us. And we have to nourish the angel within us by coming in such, like you all have come for the satsang this evening. In the same manner, weekly once, if you join some program where you get some inputs to nourish your divine assets, then that will increase more and more. And we can bring the angel out of us. And the animal can be defeated. So most of the people in this world are only thinking of immediate needs, which is called prayers, we call it. Very few think about the ultimate goal. So if our minds are filled only with the immediate things of this world, then our whole life will be, spent in just chasing out in the rat race and accumulating these goods without knowing why am I born in this world, for what purpose God has sent me in this world. Actually, in the human life, you can understand, two answers to two very important questions. Why am I suffering? And what is the ultimate goal of life? Like, for example, you find that at any given point of time, either our body and mind are giving suffering, or other people are giving us trouble, or the pandemic, material nature throws many sufferings. We can see that. And besides that, unexpectedly, sometimes diseases come in the body. The old age sets in, death comes of the near and dear ones. So we all are going through a cycle of happiness, pleasure and pain, pleasure and pain, pleasure and pain. Intelligent people ask, why am I suffering, and how I can put a full stop to all suffering? Like Buddha asked that question. Another thing is, what is the ultimate goal of life? In Gita, Lord Krishna says there are two planes. There's a spiritual plane, there's a material plane. We all were in the spiritual plane where there is no old age, disease, death. There's no suffering there. And we are right now in this material plane where there is birth, old age, disease, death. There are also sufferings from other living beings. There are also pandemic and all these different sufferings. So he says you have to go from this plane to this plane. Asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya, it is said. So how do we go? Like rainwater is pure, but here when it touches the ground, it becomes muddy. Right now, that's our situation. But from this muddy situation, we can again become pure. And for that, we have to study books like Gita and chant the holy names of the Lord. There are methods prescribed how we can come to the pure plane. Only when we come to pure plane, the life's goal is accomplished. Then we are completely happy. I don't mean to say that you have to go to spiritual world. Even in this world, if you have studied the scriptures and implemented them in your life, you can be 24/7 happy at every moment in all situations. Even you will be able to go through the adversities with a peaceful mindset. Even the challenges that we face in our life, like you can go through storms, but you can go through storms with a cool head. Once we have become spiritually nourished and purified. Therefore, the spiritual platform is very important, like praying, yoga, reading scripture, chanting. These are very important. You can read one page a day, Bhagavad Gita every day, 5 minutes. And you can chant one round of Hare Krishna mantra, it takes 10 minutes for you. Like we chant in the beats. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. 108 times you do this, it takes you 10 minutes only. And any time of the day you can do, morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever suits you. What a wonderful thing is it. You can sit in a park and chant. You can sit in a home and chant. Wherever it's convenient for you. If you don't have a mala also with you, you can chant with your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you fold your finger like this. Then again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 5 times you do 50. Another 5 times you do release the fingers. How many are over? 100. And then 8 times you do 108. You can sit and do anywhere. You don't need any money for doing this. You can chant Maha Mantra one full round 108 times every day. Do for a week. If you don't get any results, you stop it. In 1 week, you will see a lot of difference. You will see. It's very calming. It makes you more patient, more tolerant. It will help you rise above losing temper. It will also help you to see the situations with a cool head and then respond rather than just make snap decisions in life. You will actually live a more happier life in this world, and your future after death is also very bright by chanting this mantra 10 minutes and Bhagavad Gita reading Bhagavad Gita 1 page a day, 5 minutes. How many of you think 15 minutes for God out of the 24 hours He has given you? It's not a big deal, you feel. You feel it's all right? Correct? Only few hands are up. 15 minutes in a day? Yeah, now all hands are up. Thank you. 15 minutes is not a big deal. 5 minutes, 1 page, Gita, 10 minutes, 1 round chanting. Try it, all of you. You see, there are many spiritual activities you can do. Like you see here, this family is distributing Bhagavad Gita and spiritual books. They may not be monks, they are family members, but they are taking out one evening in a week and putting a book table and doing the welfare work by giving the good books, spiritual books to people. Here one Mata is doing Aarti, Puja for the Lord. It's very, very nice focus and concentration you get when you do Puja. Here down below, you find devotees are singing the holy names in the street. Every religion talks about it. One should chant the names of the Lord loudly with instruments, sing it with the heart and soul, and reach out to the people. And by hearing it, many, many people will get purified. Here you see many mothers are making garlands. Here mothers are distributing prasad. Here they are cooking prasad. Here Srila Prabhupada is giving class. All the spiritual activities. You can do gardening for Krishna and you can make flowers and offer him. Or you can do painting also for the Lord. So many things we can do, activities. Here you can see it's a Kirtan Mela. Thousands of devotees come together. This is actually like a mass prayer. It has a tremendous impact on the whole universe. It will explode the global gossip which is existing all around the globe because it opposes it, nullifies it, such chanting of the holy name in mass of people. You see, you can do computer work for Krishna also. You can write articles for Back to Godhead. You can take part in the theatra. You can play instruments, mridangam. So spiritual activities are a great variety. You can do so many things. And all these are counted as spiritual because the central figure for whose pleasure we are doing is God, Krishna. So in this way, by doing these activities, we go beyond this birth, old age, disease, death, as I told you, beyond all the problems of life. So very easy to remember. You all can remember this. A for association. I told you about the two parrot story I told you. B for Bhagavad Gita. C for chanting. D for diet. One day I was in the airport. They have a prayer room, I saw the board prayer room. I thought, wonderful. I can do my chanting there peacefully. So I went there. I saw already there was some Christian sitting and he was chanting Hail Mary. Then I saw next to him there was a Muslim sitting and he was doing namaz. And I also sat next to them. I did my chanting also. So you can see all three of us had mala in our hands, which means every religion teaches you by chanting the mala and calling the Lord's name, your mind becomes calm, cool, and collected. One practical example I'll tell you. In this world, there is one animal which is very naughty, mischievous animal it is. As soon as the animal comes, you will take a stick and drive it away. Can you guess who is that animal? Yes? Yeah, somebody said the answer. Monkey, you are right. Give them an applause. Actually, monkeys are naughty. They will snatch away the bunch of bananas which you have or anything. If they don't get any fruit, they'll tear the cloth. Or they will snatch the spectacles, isn't it? So, but there is one monkey who is not hyperactive. Generally, monkeys are hyperactive, small or big. But this monkey is sitting like this very calmly. Anybody knows who is that monkey? Hanuman, very good. Who said that? Give them an applause also. So, Hanuman is calm because he is chanting Ram Nam. So, when you chant the Nam of the Lord, then your mind becomes calm. So, that's why we should do chanting. And then there's diet, prasad, which is sanctified lacto-vegetarian diet offered to Lord. Then there is seva engagement. So, these are ABCD you can remember. Then you ascend up, you go up, and you attain the perfection of life, love of God. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita also. Those people who come back to me, into my abode spiritual world, they never come to, when they come to spiritual plane, they never come down to material plane. He says again, there's no more suffering for you. Put a full stop to all your suffering. Third one, uncontrolled mind leads to bad habits. This section will go very fast. In five minutes I can finish this because how it affects your career. I thought today some youngsters may also come. I am seeing many youngsters also here. For you, career is also very important. You can see how the bad habits affect our career. You will see about the mind, they say that 77% of everything we think is negative, he says. Counterproductive. It's not my statement, it is you can find in Google. He says that on an average day, a person runs about 60,000 thoughts through his mind, although most of which are random and unnecessary, he says. And 95% of those thoughts are repetitive thoughts every day. People keep on thinking, not accomplishing anything. Yeah. 75% of all illnesses are self-induced, he's saying. See, medical researchers are saying. Because of depression, worry, anxiety, revengeful thoughts, greed, anger, lust, such things actually causes the illnesses. Actually, mind attacks the body, body attacks the mind. This is like a vicious cycle. You can break the cycle by chanting Hare Krishna. You can, because chanting Hare Krishna takes your mind away from unwanted absorption. It purifies the mind. Yeah, how bad habits affect our career? See, many bosses are worried that he has no control over eating. How can we fit to work? He never comes to work fresh because he is drinking. Every 1 hour he has to take a break. He's always unwell. I can't rely on him for anything. He takes leave too many days. He gets into unnecessary affairs. He has broken marriage because of his bad habits and he is not attentive at work. He's a spoiled brat. He fights with everybody. Some people are like this. He's called belligerent, quarrelsome. And he can't work with anybody practically. He has too many psychological issues, he's depressed always. He does very little work. So everything starts from a thought. Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. From habit comes character. From that character comes culture. And that culture leads to destiny. So we have to modify the thought process itself. Then our actions and habits, everything can be changed. So therefore, our thinking can be modified, as I told you, by giving spiritual intelligence to yourself. By studying Bhagavad Gita, the intelligence, is purified, and you get the Viveka Buddhi. Then the thought becomes pure. When thought is pure, when vichar is pure, then the prachar is pure, achar is pure, habit, everything comes after that. Actually, it's shown that the habit, how it remains, it is shown. So now I'm giving the solutions to rise above the bad habits. The first D is desire and discipline, learned from good association. And discrimination comes by sharpening intelligence, I told you. And determination comes by chanting. I've given quotes from various scriptures. And then, here it's you are all living in America, in Bowery, how Srila Prabhupada made the hippies become happy by teaching them chanting mantra meditation. You can burn away the bad habits by mantra meditation. Man means mind, tra means freedom. So it gives freedom to the mind. And dependence through prayers. This is also the enormous energy it gives you, the prayer. See, prayer is the difference between your strength and God's strength, it is said. That means Arjuna prayed and wanted Krishna on his side and he became successful. And de-addiction, by replacing bad habits with good habits. I told you so many devotional activities in ISKCON, I showed you. So we can replace bad activities with good activities. That's all I have completed now. This I already showed you. Okay, that is good enough. 3 things we have finished. Now we can take some questions, I think. Maybe for 10 minutes. So the last one I showed you about the carrier, all the bad habits which modern youth are suffering, I showed you. So you can easily rise above those bad habits by ABCD. A for association, B for Bhagavad Gita, C for chanting, D for eating the sanctified diet, and E for seva engagement, which means replace bad habits by good sevas, service engagement. So unleashing our potential means, making our mind pure and strengthening our intelligence. These 2 things, if you do, a lot of our energy can be conserved by these 2 things. Actually, just like a mirror, dusty mirror can be cleansed by with a wet cloth. Like that, the chanting can cleanse our mind. And just as when you eat grains, you get strength by that. In the same manner, intelligence can be strengthened by study of the scriptures. Remember these 2 takeaway points. Strengthen your intelligence by study of sacred scriptures. Purify the mind by chanting. If these 2 things, if you do, mind and intelligence are paid attention, conserving energy will become very natural, very easy. Based on that only our senses act. Senses are like children. They act based on the mind and intelligence. Okay. You have another mic for the questions, Mataji? Yeah. If anybody wishes to ask. Hare Krishna. Yeah, there is one hand up there. One hand.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Some offering of flowers from the temple. Thank you so much. A big round of applause. is a great opportunity to have ask your questions. You have been so quietly, patiently listening and hearing and giving your presence and your heart to us. So now it's our time to hear back from you. So anybody wants to share any thoughts, inspirations, questions, please.
Reflections.
Reflections, yes. And in case somebody's leaving, please do not leave without a gift from us and food packet. So once we're standing right there and assisting you with that, but first we'll have a much more sweeter part, which is like hearing from you all. We have a mic here which is wired. So we may have to mobilize a little bit to reach out. So anybody having any questions here?
Okay.
What is so?
Okay. Just like in a car, you have a driver, isn't it? Without a driver, can a car move? Similarly, without the soul, the body cannot function. That's a very basic explanation given in the Bhagavad Gita. So the soul is the real person. The body is like a dress over the soul. Just like you are wearing a green t-shirt today, right? Tomorrow you will remove this and wear another shirt tomorrow. So the dress is changing, but you are the same person. So soul is like that. Soul is you. And for example, look at your father, he has grown big. And look at you, you are small, isn't it? Why? Because you are small now. After some years, you will also grow up like that. I think the body is changing, but the soul remains the same. It doesn't change. For example, when you are a small child, you use a tricycle. When you go to school, you use a bicycle. When you go to college, you may take a bike. When you go to company, you may have a car. Later on, you may make a startup and become a owner of several industries, and you may have your own chartered plane, isn't it? So that means vehicles are changing, but you are the same driver. Similarly, the bodies are changing. In this room, if you see, you are a very small child, but there are also grown-up people, there are old people. That means bodies are changing. But you will see that the soul in the same body, he doesn't change, he remains the same. But the soul is imperishable. It exists forever. Even at the time of death, the soul does not die. He leaves one body and goes to another body. And why God is giving us so many bodies? That's the reason, not without a purpose. Every body is an instrument given for giving shape to the desires stored in our mind. For example, if you have only godly desires, pure desires, then you will not take another body in this world, you will go back to God. And you can be with Him on a spiritual platform. But if I have any other desire, other than godly desires, then I have to take a body. For example, Prabhupada saw in Hawaii, one boy, morning 6 o'clock to afternoon 1 o'clock, he was surfing in the water. So Prabhupada said, 7 hours he is playing in water. He is preparing his mind to become a fish in the water. Next life he is going to become a fish because he is playing in water. The nature will tell him that you are wasting your human life. You want to play in water all day, become a fish and play all day. You can, why only all day? All life you can play. Similarly, everybody gets a body according to the mindset they prepare in one lifetime. So now you understand the soul better? You ask him? Thank you, thank you. He's going to be a great soul. At this age, he is asking such a brilliant question. He's like Prahlad Maharaj. Okay, anyone else? Yeah. There are 2 hands up. Yeah. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah. Two hands are up. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So my question was, what's the difference between mind and you?
Okay, good. Actually, there are, see the body which you see in the mirror, that is made of 5 elements. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Earth means flesh, bones, all that is earth. Water water and blood in the body. Fire means there is fire in the belly with which we digest the food. And there is also air. 10 types of airs are there. Prana, Apana, Dhyana, Udana, Samana, airs. And ether means a space within the body. These five constitute one body called gross body, we call it. Inside the gross body, there's a subtle body consisting of Antakarana, we call it in Sanskrit. That has mind, intelligence, and ego, we call it. So those three put together are called the astral body or Linga Sharir or Sukshma Sharir, we call it. So Stula Sharir, then Sukshma Sharir. Inside that, the soul is present. The soul is different from these two. Why? Because these two are temporary, whereas the soul is permanent. Soul is eternal. Soul will never die. But whenever a person dies, what happens? The gross body is lying down on the ground. It is sent to the graveyard for burning or for burying. And the Atma covered by subtle body, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar comes out. And then in the mind, you store those unfulfilled desires which you couldn't give shape in this life. And then you carry it, and then you will be going into such a body where you can give shape to them. Unfulfilled desires. Correct, no? Like one boy came from the school and told his mother, Mom, I'm very tired now. I'm going to sleep at 4 o'clock now. But 6 o'clock, I have to go to a movie, he said. So I'm going to sleep. Please wake me up so I can go to the movie. So 4 o'clock he slept. He got up at 6:30. And he jumped up and the mother said, hey, you got a bit late to get up. The boy immediately, what do you think he will do after sleeping? Now he will rush to the movie because that was the desire in his mind before sleeping. Similarly, at the time of death, whatever desires are unfulfilled, if we deserve it, in the next life, we will be given opportunity to fulfill it. And in that way, what happens to us, we come with one desire and then it multiplies into a dozen. And then we keep on taking different bodies, fulfilling this desire, that desire, we try this out, try that out. We keep on spending a lot of time in this world. But ultimately, you come to a satsang like this, where you get a copy of Bhagavad Gita, you learn chanting. When you start, that's the real time when you have started preparing to return to your original spiritual position from where we have come. So this plane is a spiritual world, Vaikuntha, we call it. Vaikuntha means where there is no anxiety. There all the people are completely pure. The Vaikuntha planet, the God is pure, his living beings are also completely pure. They are non-envious, they are non-competitive, they praise one another, they actually consider themselves others to be better than themselves. They are always there everybody is thinking, how can I serve? Here everybody is thinking, how can others serve me? There everybody is thinking, how can I respect others? Here everybody is thinking, why that person is not respecting me? There everybody is thinking, how can I care for others? Here everybody is asking, why don't others care about me? So that the Bhoga Vritti is in this world and Seva Vritti is in that world. So we want to go beyond the Bhoga Vritti. Like Ravana means Bhoga Vritti. Hanuman means Seva Vritti. So once the Seva Bhava comes in us, we go there. When it predominates our personality. Then our mind becomes purified. Is it all right? Thank you. There was one question that side. Yes. Yeah. Mike can come up with that much. You can come down. Yeah. Okay. Here there is a hand up.
How many times a human being takes rebirth?
Oh, as many number of desires he has, he will keep on taking. He will keep on going on. Actually, from human body, not that we will always be a human. It says that Purusha Prakristo hi bhungte prakrijan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasatyo nijanmasu. Krishna says the living being, bhungte means when he tries to enjoy life. He says that sometimes he may get Sat Yoni or Asat Yoni. He says. Sat Yoni means human or Devata's body. Asat Yoni means it could be animals, it could be aquatics, it could be plants, reptiles, such kinds of creatures. Non-human. So Sat Yoni is human and beyond human. So, and it can be millions of times actually. As long as we are not understanding the ultimate goal of life, we run around in this world. You see what children are doing? They're playing with toys. Teenagers, they are attracted to opposite sex. And when they get jobs, then people are worried about, making money and building a house and building a career and all that. When they get old, they worry about the health. And mostly people, I heard an interesting episode, 7 stages of life. Initially, when child is born, the child spills. What he spills? Stool, urine, all that. Then when he goes to school, he drills. 2 1 sa 2 2 2 sa 4, like that he drills. Or rhymes, he drills. Then when he comes to teenage, he gets into thrills. Then when he gets married, he gets bills. That's the pay. And then paying the bill after bill, he gets many ills. And then when he gets very old, 80, 90, then he writes bills. So the sound stages of life. So when the life goes away like this, very few people are fortunate enough to think about life. Why am I born in this world? What is this world? Why God created it? So where do I come from? Where do I go? So if you ask these questions, answers are available in Bhagavad Gita for all this. So fortunate are those who ask the questions. All of you are very blessed and fortunate, I would say. Very fact you have come for a program like this goes to indicate that you are in the spiritual track and you are in the right track in life. You have come to a point of being a thinking human being, not just like a robo, just running around in this world and finishing off your term. Solomon Gandhi born on Monday, died on Sunday. It's not like that. You are making your life meaningful. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
To ask, what is life after death?
Life after death, yeah. After a person dies, when the soul comes out of the body, I told you that along with that subtle body covering is there. Subtle body. So in the Bhagavata Purana, it is explained that when we leave the body, well, not only the Atma comes out with subtle body, it is given one Preta Sharir. Preta Sharir means it is subtler than gross body, grosser than subtler body. There is one body given. With that body only, the soul is taken to the Yamaloka. Yamaloka means the Plutonic planets, where, like, for example, in Bible, people call it as a doomsday, they call it. Like, a day of judgment, they call it. Similarly, in the Sanatana Dharma, one is taken to 28 type of hells in case they have committed sin, and they have to be given treatment there, purified there. Those who have done virtuous activities, they go to the heavens, and there they live long duration of life, and like fine food they eat. They enjoy various pleasures for long duration. They have handsome bodies and everything. But when their virtuous activities count is over, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, they come back to earth again. Similarly, those who go to hell, -3, -2, -1, 0, they come back to earth again. So again, after coming back to earth, they will again take bodies based on the previous accounts. They will take bodies like that. So the bodies are awarded as much as they are desirous of doing something in the world independent of God. Once you start working in alignment with God, that means your path back to God is already started, preparation started. And that is why you all have come today. My humble request to you, our temple president is sitting here, is Vanamali Pandit Prabhu there, the one who is sitting in the chair. And we also have Paramburu Prabhu and Atulya Mataji, they are also living in this locality. So my humble request to every one of you is take advantage of their programs which they are holding here in this locality. And by that, you are getting very, very positive inputs to you every week. Once in a week, you keep taking it. And you will be surprised in 1 to 2 year of period, you understand overall philosophy very well. You clearly understand what life is all about. It's very scientifically, systematically presented. And then you can walk a very, very, the most glorious path, which is actually taught by God himself in the Bhagavad Gita. So then we don't have to go to hell. We don't have to go to heaven. We go beyond heaven and hell to the spiritual world from where we never come back. And that is the actual goal of every soul. Because if you see, you take a stone and throw it up, then the stone will come to earth because stone is from the earth. Similarly, you will see the water which is coming from the ocean. It goes back to the ocean later. It comes down through the rains and goes back. Similarly, if you lit up fire, the fire will always go up. You've seen that? Because fire is a sun element, fire element. Similarly, the soul has come from the spiritual world. So when you get liberated, it will go back to spiritual world. And once he goes back, that is a stable place. This is a foreign place. This material world is a foreign place for the soul. And that is our real home. So you might have heard about the prodigal son story, A father had 2 sons, one good son and one naughty son, The naughty son actually ruined his life. I can show it. It's only 3 minutes. Can I show it, Prabhu? It's only 3 minutes. So this is a very short 3-minute clip. You can see that. This will illustrate the point which you are asking just now. Oh, why sound is not coming? It is. I think it's coming in that projector. It is coming.
Oh, really?
You can play that. If you see, for example,
Maybe you can disconnect the sound from the projector. Can we go to the sound setting?
if you can hold the mic there, yeah. Sound. Okay, I'll check whether I can modify it here. And I will put in this one. Let me see now. I changed it now.
A man had two sons.
Yeah.
The younger son told his father, I want my share of real estate now. So his father agreed to divide his wealth between his sons. His younger son packed all his belongings to a distant land and there wasted all his money in wild living. About the time his money ran out, a great famine swept over the land and he began to starve. The man sent him into his fields to feed the pigs. The young man became so hungry that even the plants he was feeding the pigs spoke good to him. No. When he finally came to his senses, he said to himself, at home, even the hired servants have food enough to spare, and here I am dying of hunger. He wasted everything his father gave him. While he had the job of feeding the pigs, the young man became so so hungry that eating the pigs looked good to him. Finally, he came to his senses and said, "My father's workers have plenty to eat, and here I am starving to death. Go to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against God in heaven and against you. I am no longer good enough to be called your son. Treat me like one of your workers." But still the long way off, his father saw him and felt sorry for him. He ran to his son. And kissed him. Hurry and bring the best foods and put them on him. Give him a ring for his finger and sandals for his feet. The son of mine was dead, but has now come back to life. He was lost and has now been found. And they began to celebrate.
You understood that? You saw it? It's self-explanatory. Huh? Anybody can easily catch this. So, like the second son who left the father and wandered away, carrying his wealth, and he became a vagabond. He squandered all the wealth, you see. Similarly, we have left the kingdom of God and come to this world, wandering in this world. And we are trying different ways to become happy. But the actual way of becoming happy is to reconnect with Him. That's the main lesson. Thank you. As much, I think we had good number of questions. Very nice. Thank you. I wish to thank Atulya Mataji and Param Prabhu for organizing this event today and giving me an opportunity to share something with all of you. And if it helps you in conserving the energies of your mind and senses by empowering yourself, strengthening your intelligence, I'll feel very happy. There are many beautiful books displayed here. You are welcome to pick up the books. I think malas are also there here, right? Yeah, japa malas are also available. You can take a mala and every day make it a practice. I told you a very simple homework to do. Chant one round of Hare Krishna and one page of Gita a day. All right, please try your best. Thank you.
So we will have some 10 minutes Kirtan one more time, special request. So, and we will be distributing the boxes and the gifts to all of you. I have passed on the sign-on sheets. Please do give us your contact for keeping your updated with your next
Thank you.
And a special, while they're setting up, a special round of applause for speaker who will